What is up, everybody? It's been a minute since I've made any YouTube videos, and I don't know. I just felt like now was the perfect time, more than ever, to just say some things that have been on my mind that I think maybe a lot of you guys need to hear. Um, and I definitely needed to hear it, or at least I needed to think it and write it down. And especially nowadays when things are so crazy and technology is so just advanced in a part of our lives. I think that we tend to forget a lot of important aspects just about life in general. And so I just wanted to talk about some things today. And to start, I want to ask you guys some questions that I think that is important for everyone to think about. And I didn't think about this, or I didn't come up with this myself. It's something from Cliff Knettle, or Connectly. I don't know how to say his name, but it got me thinking. So I want to ask, what do you believe in, and how do you know it's true? And this is important, whether you're a Christian or not. Of course, I am, and so it kind of ties back into my faith. But even if you're not a Christian, it's important because what we believe in ends up being what are we living for? You know what I mean? And is it true? How do you know it's true? Well, if what you're living for isn't true, then in the end, when you die, what is left? You know what I mean? Just a lie. If you were living for something that's fake or that's just temporary, what's left? It's gonna fade. And so ask yourself, what are you living for? And some of you guys might be in college or past college, or maybe still in high school. And I know when I was in high school, I didn't really ask these questions myself. I always had the dream of just like going to college, making a lot of money, you know. And I mean, I didn't want to go to college just to make a lot of money. I wanted to learn things, and knowledge is very important in life, because true knowledge is one of the things that is like, it's a pillar in reality. It's true. It's a fact. These trees around me and the grass it's all real. It's all true. And so think of some of the stuff in your life that has become a part of your life that's not true. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously, one good example is like your phone. And not like you're living for your phone, but it's obviously a key part of everyone's lives, mine included. But is the stuff that's on your phone, is that based in reality? I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not a guy that loves to scroll some reels, but I mean, what is reels? Just besides distractions. You know what I mean? And there's some good stuff on there, and there's some not good stuff on there. And it's just like, it's one of those things that's kind of like a time vortex, just sucks you in. It doesn't really spit you out for a couple hours or 30 minutes or whatever. And what I was talking about before, making a lot of money, is money even really something that's true in reality? Like, obviously currency is needed, I mean, for trade and everything. I'm not saying money is important, but if what you're living for is money, then what do you have when you die? You don't have any of it. Maybe it gets passed down to your kids or whatever, but is having a lot of money, think of the billionaires or the multimillionaires, you can do a lot of good with money, but when you just are living for that, where does that lead you in life? So a lot of these things that I'm talking about, your phone or your money or whatever you're living for, you have to think about, is it based in reality, and is it worth living for? You know what I mean? And if you're living for yourself, I'm not saying you shouldn't take care of yourself, but is living for yourself true? Are you true to yourself? I mean, all of us lie. We lie to ourselves, lie to others. So if you're living for yourself, again, what's left when you're dead? I mean, your body's gonna be gone. So I guess what I'm trying to say is think about some things that will last, because how you're spending your time, I mean, time isn't owed to us at all. You know what I mean? We're not, I mean, we're gifted life, but plenty of people die short in life. You could have cancer right now, not even know about it, and then just die in like a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So down the road, you know, the average right now is probably like 75, 80. So 80 winters, 80 springs, 80 summers, 80 falls. That's all you've got. You know what I mean? That's all you're not promised in life, but that's really like the high end, you know, 80, 90. And so when you're thinking about it like that, man, how are you spending those times? Are you spending a summer just sitting at home playing video games by yourself? You know, where does that time go? I mean, video games are one of the things. It's like, man, you could spend 100,000 hours on any video game, and what do you gain from it? Zeros and ones in your computer or in your Xbox. Like, it's literally, it's fictional. It's not even real. It's technically real, but I mean, it's a facade. You know what I mean? It's an illusion. And so one of the other things I wanted to talk about, one of the things that is true, and which I would say is the ultimate driving force in the universe, is love. Love everlasts through generations, through time. You know what I mean? Love is not bound by like our physical space. You could love someone that's 1,000 miles away, and it's everlasting. You know what I mean? If you die with love, your love stays with the people you loved. And so it really comes down to loving others and loving yourself. Not that you should live necessarily just for yourself, but loving yourself is important, because if you don't love yourself, you can't truly love others. You know what I mean? And I just mean like taking care of yourself. Think about the thoughts that you're thinking about yourself. What are you putting into your body? And I'm not saying I'm perfect, definitely not, but it's good to be conscious about, you only get one body. There's no one stored in the back. You don't get a replacement. You can get surgeries and stuff, but it's all going into one body. And so how you treat your body and how you treat your mind especially becomes how you portray yourself to others. So if you aren't loving yourself in the first place, there's no way to possibly truly love somebody else. And so my fourth point here is the ultimate driving force of the universe is love. And so in my point of view as a Christian especially, it says multiple times in the Bible, God is love. Just in general, all of it. Love between us, love between others, our love to God. It's all, God is the truest aspect of reality, and that ultimate aspect is love. And so in the Bible, Jesus' main calling for us as Christians is to love God and love others. There's no exceptions to that rule. You know what I mean? So now speaking directly to the Christians that are watching this video, when you're acting towards people that may not be Christians or may not be the best person to you, that doesn't give you the right to hate them or to treat them poorly. You know what I mean? Because the antithesis of love is hate, you know, and that would make hate also one of the key driving forces in our reality. Hate persists. It affects people, and so even just most minor stuff, comments on someone's post or comments about other people, that's real. And even if the other people don't see it, it's real because it persists in your heart. So whenever you harbor hate towards someone, that affects you. It affects your mindset. And so if your mindset is based on loving others but hating other people, that's still hate that's in your heart. And when you die, do you want that hate to persist? Is that hate going to be what you're remembered for? That's just something that you guys got to think about, because it doesn't really matter what the form is. You know what I mean? Hate is hate. So even if it's someone on an opposite political spectrum, or someone with different views or a different culture, maybe they smell really bad, or maybe they're mean to you, maybe they even persecute you. But we're not called to hate those people. So we're called to love them, and in loving them, I'm not saying that we should be a stepping stone or that we should just allow hate to persist. We're called to call out hate. We're called to fight that. And so because love is the ultimate driving force, love surpasses hate in any capacity, in any form. Love will always be stronger than hate. So you can't fight hatred towards you with hatred towards them. That just leaves both people hating. So just want you guys to think about even the people that you just like the most on this earth, people that might be living with you, maybe your roommate, who knows? Why are you harboring hate towards them? And I just want to talk about, man, the universe is so complex. It's so large and vast that we could never explore it. Could never explore the whole thing. And it's so vast on a large scale, and even on the microscopic scale. That's one of the things that I've been fortunate enough to learn as like a scientist or material science. It's just how complex, even on a microscopic scale, everything is. And that's not even including, like, man, biology is so complex. And I want you guys to just, if you're living in distractions, if you're living in the temporary, I want you to think about experiencing the reality that's gifted to you, that's been given to you. And that's less of something about hate or love, but just remember to remember what is around you. Remember the world that you're living in. You know, and I'm not saying video games are bad or anything like that, but you can't be living in a fictional reality. You know, remember where your time goes, because the reality that we live in now it's infinitely times more complex than any video game, and so it's good to just recognize what a gift the world that we live in is. And in that, the greatest gift is being able to love. Honestly, loving others will never, it's not going to bring you unhappiness. You know what I mean? You harbor hate in your heart, you're just giving yourself unhappiness. You're just storing that in your body. But even when someone is against you, or someone is hating you, loving them is never gonna harm you. You lose nothing. And it might be hard. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but it's important, and it's vital to your soul, honestly. So just remember that the world we live in is not, it's not, I don't know how to explain this. I've kind of lost my track of mind, but you get the point that I'm trying to say. Man, just live in love. Live in love. Live and love and live in love. Because that's gonna be what's left when you're dead, man. You can affect so many people with your love, and you can affect so many people with your hate in ways that you'll never know. And love it's compounds. When you bless somebody, when you love somebody, that gives them the boost maybe that they needed to love somebody else. And it's just a chain reaction. So just remember to think about the people that you love. You know what I mean? Call your grandma. When was the last time you called any of them? You know, your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother, your friends. Just checking up on them. And it gets hard because, man, we get so caught up in our own lives and our truths, our relative truths, that we forget these things. And it's like, man, I get affected by this too, especially during like final season or just when exams come. I get so caught up in myself, and you kind of just have to step back and be like, dude, we live in the most vast universe. We could never explore it ever. All we have is the ground we're standing on. And you just have to remember what the truth is in your life. And it's good to educate yourself and to, you know, it's good to go through hard things. So going through the exams, going through just the tough times, it's good for you, because it builds that strength in your soul that you need to keep pushing on. You know what I mean? So this is kind of a long video, but the last thing I want to say is just, man, live every day for the gift that it is. We're not promised tomorrow at all. We're not promised next week. So think about how you're spending your time. Think about how you're spending your love. And the best thing about being a Christian is that because everybody has God's love, when you recognize that, you have an infinite storage of love. You never run out. You can love everybody, and you should. You're called to love everybody. So just remember that. And know that God's going to love you no matter what. No matter what you did, no matter what you're going to do. Just remember that you're loved. Even if no person loves you, even if you feel alone right now, know that God loves you. Know that I love you, man. Whoever you are, if you're seeing this video and you think that you feel alone, maybe you're going through a tough time, dude, you can message me, because I do love you. I love everyone watching this video, and whoever this reaches, I hope that that you think about these things, especially think about what you're living for. So anyways, I love you guys. God bless you.